Guys, so I've been buying a lot of manga recently, which you probably have been noticing with all my updates I've been doing the past 3 months, I believe they've been, that, like, I would get, like, one thing of anime and, like, 10 things of manga. Well, I do read most of it, I try, anyways, but, there's one series that I bought, I think it was last month, that I haven't touched until now, and that is, you can probably tell, but Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind. Now, I read Volume 1 just now, and I decided, well, I better talk about it because it's interesting, because it's not every day that a famous director, writer, guy makes a manga. And what I mean by that is, what's his name? Not what his name, I know it's Miyazaki, but his first name I always pronounce wrong, so I wanted to look at it. But Hayao Miyazaki, probably horribly wrong, but he made, he's worked for Studio Ghibli, My Neighbor Totoro he made Nausicaa Valley of the Wind. One of the first things he made was that. Spirited Away, Ponyo, Arrietty is one of the newest American, Canadian releases, whatever you want to call it. Because I know there's been one, or it's either been in theaters or it's coming out very soon in Japan, and I don't know what it's called, but it's a new one he's done. But, yeah, Volume 1 of Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. This is in kind of iffy condition. Oh, bugs me, I bought it new, and mailman retarded. But, so it starts off, basically, to try to talk about it real fast. Hopefully I'll do each volume I'll talk about, hopefully, and if not, you'll have at least the beginning. So Nausicaa, she's the princess, you know, of the kingdom of the Valley of the Wind. And there's other city countries, I guess, all around. Well, she, of course, isn't a normal princess. She's, of course, flies around and does crazy things and has swords and stuff. And, we start off, basically, there's a giant creature, they call it a worm, was it something worm? Just giant worm creature, actually you can see it on the cover there, chasing a man, and she can sense that it's happening, but she doesn't see it happening, she can just sense it's happening. So she chases after it, and instead of killing it, she uses basically a flashbang. It was called like a pulse something, but like a flashbang, which stopped it and made it run away. And then you realize that it was her, her father, which would be the king, really old friend. And then we figure out that they haven't seen each other for a year, and basically, I guess he taught her how to do things, and it kind of seems like he may have taught her how to fly this vehicle thing she has, which actually you can see on there. It's just a glider. It looks just like a glider, but with a bar, basically. And, you know, we just learn about that, and then they go back to the kingdom, and everyone's talking to the old man, because he hasn't been around for a while, and he's telling stories. And we figure out that the next day they go out, just to go out, you know, fly around. And then there is a plane that is crashing, and they try to save them, of course. It's weird, they're like maggots. But there were like hundreds of them on the plane, which deteriorated the wing, and they crash, and basically everyone dies. But there's one girl who doesn't die right away, and she gives her this stone. We don't know what it is, but it's a stone of some sort. And the stone, she says, you need to give this to my brother. And we figure that this girl is a princess of another kingdom. I can't pronounce it, sort of the P, but it's another kingdom. Because I guess there's a whole bunch. And I guess the brother would be technically a prince, maybe? But whatever. So she's like, yes, I'll do that, and then the girl dies, and then they bury them. And then we figure out that there is another kingdom. So far we've been introduced to 3 different kingdoms. I think there's 5. They made it, unless, okay, whatever. There's a whole bunch of kingdoms. And this other kingdom attacked this kingdom, destroyed this kingdom where the girl was from and her family. Except I guess some of them escaped. And they're looking for this stone, which now Nausicaa has. So they go back and they tell the king what happened, and they kind of get ready, not for war, but they know something's happening, so they kind of get all the troops. And then of course when they're doing that, the plane that attacked the people, or at least put the weird maggots on this plane, not crash lands, but it lands like in their crops. And basically, you know, everyone runs over to see what happens, and these people come out with swords and shit, and the worms, because I guess these worm things like just eat and kill things really fast, like people, planes, items, like everything. And they all start attacking Nausicaa. She's just standing there, and she does like this thing where they like, it looked like she's going Super Saiyan, because like they just kind of fly off. You're like, okay, she knows some magic-y kind of thing, I guess. And then she gets pissed and pulls out her sword and goes to kill the guy who's like the leader of the group that landed. And the old man, I think it's like Yoda. His name's like Yoda, but it's like Yoba or something. I forget. But he goes over and stops it. Now she already stabbed the guy, and he technically should be dead, but I guess he's not dead. And that's when they kind of introduced the different items, because like I guess I think they call it like the Guyo or whatever, the weird worm thing on there. It has, I guess, the hardest material that's in this world that we know of technically. And the sword that she had, her actual sword, not the one that you just saw, but like her actual sword, is made out of it. And I guess the guy's gauntlets were made out of it, so he can grab it or some shit. I don't know. And he stops it. They leave. She leaves. And then basically we see that she gathers all these people, and they get into a convoy, a plane convoy, and they're going somewhere. To be honest, I tried to pay attention to what was happening, but they were kind of flipping to their little story and the little story of the other people, and I got a little confused. Which, before you go, oh, that's my fault, you gotta think about it this way. When they're writing something like that, shouldn't really get confused, you know, if that makes any sense. Sure, it's my fault, but is it some of the fault of the person making it? I'm not saying it's bad. Before anyone goes, wow, I'm just saying, got a little confused there, my fault. But maybe the writer should have done it a little bit better. But, this is coming from a guy who hasn't seen the movie. I should have said that in the beginning. I haven't seen the film. So that said, this might make more sense what I'm saying. So, they get into a plane convoy, they all fly, and then we see, I think it's another plane. You might be hearing rain and stuff, pipes right there, I apologize. But we hear, another plane getting attacked or whatever, and they try saving it, and of course, there's people falling and, like, getting hit by the planes, and, like, there's one scene where I'm like, they did that, but then I thought about it, because I'm like, Princess Mononoke, you know, he'll shoot a bow, and it'll like rip through a guy and his head goes flying off, so I shouldn't not expect something like that, but when you see it, it's like, and then we see like little kids falling out of the plane too. It's like, oh, this is bad, but there's not much they can do, but so I guess she runs into, like, these creature things are still there, right? And they attack this guy's plane, and he goes kind of crashing through the forest. Now, this forest, this is basically what this whole thing surrounding so far is about. The forest and the trees and stuff. They have a poison which it's in their air, kind of, that will kill everything, basically, except for the trees and stuff. Because it's like the insects and plants are trying to overrun things, and then we get like a few pictures of like how I guess 5 cities or something has already been overtaken. At least a couple of cities have been actually overgrown and just totally destroyed because nothing can live in this stuff. So back to what I was saying, the guy basically crashes through the thing, and he goes like through the forest into a tree, and then like falls through like the middle of the tree down. It's like made out of sand, and they fall down. Well, I guess not like before that happens, Nausicaa tries saving the guy, and they both kind of grab, and they both go into it, and they both fall. And that's like, she's on her glider, so the glider kind of gets messed up, and he doesn't get messed up. And, well, like, they're both basically okay, but she kind of, she passes out. And we see a flashback where, you know, when she's a kid, and she's, like, trying to make it so people don't kill insects, and they're like, oh, we have to kill the insects, because insects and humans can't stay together, and it's like, oh, Miyazaki doing another fucking nature versus people story, and I'm like, okay! But, whatever. And then she wakes up from the dream, and she's like, oh, where's that guy that I saved, basically? And we see that he's like looking around the ship and stuff, not the ship, but like her little glider thing. And he's like, oh hey, and they kind of have a bit of a dialogue, and it's basically, oh, you're the prince guy. Oh, that's the princess from the other thing. Oh, I was supposed to give you the stone. And he already had the stone because, like, he kind of took it out of her bag. He wasn't stealing it. He was supposed to be looking for something else, but he found that. He's like, well, it's fine. Well, she's like, it's fine because I was supposed to give you that anyways, kind of thing. And, we don't really get explained about what that stone is really used for, but there is a tiny segment. Back when I was saying there's like 2 different stories kind of going on with Nausicaa and like the bad people for that, where I got confused. Well, they kind of show these weird, how can I explain it? Imagine armor, like suit of armor, robots. Well, I kind of think that this stone thing, they find what I guess it might turn it on or something. I don't know. We're only on volume 1, right? So it's a little hazy about what's going on. So he gets that. But they only have 1 air thing because like it's weird where they are right now. It's like they're so deep into the forest underneath it and everything that the air is fine. Which is like, okay, is that just relevant to the thing? Like, you know, oh, conveniently relevant, oh, the air is fine where they are, or is it like, okay, this is actually a secret meaning where it's like, it's not all bad, kind of thing, which I think that's probably what it's gonna be, but, yeah, they only have 1 air thing, and somehow, within, like, 2 panels, okay, she's like, oh, we only have, and he's like, oh, we only have 1 air thing, you go, I'll stay, kind of thing, I fixed your plane, you can get out, and she's like, no, now we have 2. Now it's made out of the 1, so it won't last that long, and it looks like she's gonna show him something, but then it kind of cuts to like, oh, we're gonna get out of here, and I know a way if we just vertically go up, we can get out of the poisonous-y area and out, and it's like, okay. But like, that's basically where it is, so yeah, that's that. I've been talking for quite a while here. But, to say just a few things, if you like fantasy, okay, a lot of people consider fantasy, and, like, this is fantasy, but I'm trying to say is, with, like, elves, and, like, sure, there's, like, some people think medieval fantasy. What I'm trying to say is, people think, like, medieval fantasy to something like World of Warcraft, when it could be something like Game of Thrones, if that makes any sense. Now, I haven't seen the 2nd season of Game of Thrones, or I haven't even seen the full season 1 of Game of Thrones, so I know some shit's gonna happen with dragons, probably, possibly. But back to what I'm saying, this is very fantasy, medieval fantasy, and not World of Warcraft, where, you know, their armor and stuff looks like armor. Oh, back to what I was saying about armor. Remember how I said that they have, like, the worm thing is the hardest kind of armor? Real fast, I'm gonna say this. We learned basically that's really hard armor, made out of the, what do you call it, the shedding of the worm thing skin. We learned that's one of the hardest they have. And then there's, like, I guess it's, like, made out of clay-ish stuff, and the metal-ish stuff. It's not, they called it something weird, like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think what it's called, but, doesn't matter. There's that, but, it's rumored that sand stuff, I said that was in the tree. It's rumored because the one guy had a little thing of sand, like they kind of do a bit of a flashback, like, oh, he kind of went to a place like this, kind of thing, and the sand is actually like really fine metals and stuff, and if it can't be heated down to actually turn into anything yet, as they know of. So I'm assuming something's gonna happen where it'll have to be melted down and become the ultimate weapon to defeat something. Now, that being said, Volume 2, which I haven't read yet, I'm gonna actually pull it out right by my colored High School of the Dead, has Nausicaa, well, it's Nausicaa, yeah, holding a freaking minigun-like thing. I don't know what that's gonna be about, but I'll have to read that soon. I'm not gonna read it today, because I just read one today. But before I say anything, I recommend buying the next one, because I already have all 7 of them. Because sometimes I'll say, oh, you know, I recommend, you know, maybe checking the series out or getting the, I'll at least get the next volume. I already bought all 7 of them. Now, I just want to say this, it's released by Viz Media. The best place to buy them, okay, not Amazon. Go to Book Depository. I'm not being sponsored or anything. It's gonna sound sponsors, but they do free shipping on everything. Doesn't matter how much you buy. So you can buy a $5 book and it's free shipped to you. They do PayPal and debit Visa cards if you're in Canada. I'm not sure if America has debit Visa. I've been ranting too much about just one single volume and just other stuff. But I just want to say this. You can get them single like this. This was not the way I wanted to buy them though. There is a hardcover version where it's two volumes. It's like that big. And hardcover looks awesome. It goes for way too much because it's out of print. I wanted it, but I couldn't wait, so I got these. Do I recommend somehow getting those ones? If you can, you have the money, somehow get the hardcover, because one, they don't know how to mail these things for shit. Not made very well in the sense of like it's flimsy, and yes, they're very thin. They're 130 pages each if you do it this way. The other way they're like 500 and something each, I think, and hardcover, so you know, very good quality. But that's basically all I want to say about that. Do you want me to talk about Volume 2? If so, write in the comments saying Volume 2. If you want me to talk about anything else, show anything else, I'm wearing my pajamas. So I will do it. You know, say hey, write in the comments, hello. If anyone wants to do a streaming thing, hit me up on that too. Yeah. And we'll see you.